Do you ever find yourself holding back from doing something? Do you ever think, okay, I gotta do this, I wanna do this, I have to do this, but it's not the right time, it's not the perfect time. Everything needs to be perfect before I could do this. I have to make sure that I do it perfectly. I have to make sure that it's done perfectly right. I have to make sure that this YouTube channel I'm making is perfect. That game I'm playing, I get the top score. I gotta make sure that I'm perfect at every single thing I do, or at least the things I care about. The rest, who cares? But I gotta be perfect at this. Do I have the perfect, do I have the most imperfect but hopefully helpful video for you? Today I'm going to be talking about perfectionism. I'm going to be beginning the conversation on perfectionism. And it's going to be a topic that we're going to be talking about over the months, maybe even the years to come. Because perfectionism is something that a lot of people experience. And I will say that as somebody who's experienced with perfectionism a lot in his life, it does have its positives in motivation, but it does also have a lot of drawbacks in the mental fatigue that comes with trying to be perfect every waking hour of your day. To start things off, I'm going to read a definition of perfectionism off this piece of paper just because it's very hard to memorize this. But essentially, perfectionism, in the simplest of terms, is defined as the need to be or appear to be perfect, or believe that it's humanly possible to achieve perfection. Now, some may see this as a good thing, and the part that gets a bit tricky is I have to do this the right way. I have to do this perfectly. I have to do this exactly as I envisioned in my head. Because if it doesn't go that way, then what's the point of doing it? That's where we can reach some problems. And I wanted to talk through that feeling that I just described by talking about the different types of symptoms or the different types of thoughts that could be going through your head that relate to perfectionism. And then also a couple of things that I have done to try to curb that, to try to put that perfectionism at bay and kind of say, it's okay. It's okay if things aren't perfect. Let's first talk about some of the things that trigger that perfectionism mentality. You can start feeling like you're failing at everything that you do. Because if you're not doing it exactly the way that you thought it would go in your head, then, oh man, I'm not doing it right. I'm doing it wrong. I'm not doing it the way that is the perfect way of doing it. You may start procrastinating or bring on the mental fatigue from even thinking about doing that task. Because I know for me, even in recording the video that you're watching, I think I must have been thinking about this for 2 or 3 months until finally I was like, I just have to do it. I just have to record it. It's not going to be perfect, but that's something else that comes with that type of mentality of thinking about being perfect is you can get exhausted. You could drain yourself mentally thinking about I'm gonna wait until I can do this the right way, when in reality just doing it. Most importantly, you'll probably find it hard to relax and just sit back and just unwind, because once you sit back and relax, you start thinking to yourself, oh my gosh, how am I going to be perfect if I'm sitting here and relaxing? And oh my gosh, I can't sit back and relax, otherwise I'm not going to be able to do the goal, and then the goal won't be done perfectly like I want it, and then you just lead back to that spiral of procrastination, overwhelmness, and then you're sitting in your chair trying to relax, and then all of a sudden you're stressed again. You're more stressed sitting back and relaxing than you were earlier. And those are those speed bumps on the road. Those are those things that kind of hit you, and you're like, okay, should I keep going on this? Should I keep trying to get that perfection? And the short answer is no. There is no way to be perfect in life, and that's my own personal opinion. I think that there are things that you can do to better yourself, and you should always be trying to improve yourself, but you should not burden yourself with the pressure of being perfect, because being perfect, again, is something that is so unattainable unless you are a mathematical equation such as 2 + 2 = 4, because I'd say that's perfect. But even then, you could say 1 + 1 + 2 = 4. There's no perfect way of getting to the number 4. I still find myself getting into this perfectionism mindset, but I've been finding ways to curb it in a healthy way, like I mentioned earlier. So I'm going to talk about 3 different things that I do, and 3 different things that I hope can help you if you're also somebody who is dealing with a certain degree of perfectionism. The first thing that I'll say is avoid procrastinating. And that sounds like a big ask from somebody who is a serial procrastinator. No matter the size of the task, do it. It could be something like going to the gym, which again, something else that I've experienced where It takes so much effort thinking about, oh my gosh, I'm gaining weight, I'm eating more, I need to work out, I need to work out, but I don't want to go to the gym, because if I go to the gym, then I need to do the right amount of sets, the right amount of weights. I need to get the most out of my hour-long workout. Or if I'm there for under an hour, then what's the point in going at all if it's not the perfect workout? Just hop in the car and go. Hop on the bus and go. Get to the destination and do something. Walk in, scan the ticket or the token or whatever. Scan your code to get into the gym. And if you can't do it that day, leave. But at least you did something. At least you got past that barrier of procrastination. It may not seem like a lot to the one who's hard on themselves like me, but I'll tell you that can go a really long way. Avoid that procrastinating. Do something, no matter how small it may seem to you. It will help you in your mental state as it has helped me. The second thing I'll say is that mistakes are not the end of the line. A mistake is just another opportunity to learn, and I'm sure you've heard that a lot, and I'm sure that, I'm someone, again, who does not like to make mistakes because it brings me a lot of anxiety, but it is something that I am beginning to come to grips with, that I just have to do. You have to make a mistake in order to learn from it, in order to improve, and in order to perhaps do something that you haven't done in the past. To me, now when I make a mistake or I take on a failure, it's something that I haven't done before, and I'd say be okay with making those mistakes, because so long as you can do that, you will feel a lot happier in the different things that you try, and you'll be more inclined to try out different things if you're okay with making mistakes. Again, a result of this YouTube video is going to be the fact that I may be making a lot of mistakes, it being the first recorded video outside of my introduction. The third piece of advice I'll give is more of an analogy. Shoot for the stars, but be okay with landing on the clouds. And what do I mean by that? I mean, so long as you have that goal in mind and you want to really go for it, you want to get the high score in the video game. You want to be the top of the leaderboards. You want to get to the very top. That's awesome. But be okay with being in the top 50. Be okay with being in the top 100. Because in order to get to where you want to be, you have to be happy with the progress. Because if you're not enjoying the progress, if you're not enjoying the process to get there, then it's going to be a really, really, really stressful and taxing time on your mental until you get to that exact goal. And then when you get there, you're going to be like, okay, was this worth all the stress? Enjoy the process. Enjoy the process that it's going to take for you to get to where you want to be, that goal, that task, that thing that you really want to do in life. It could be related to work, it could be related to play, it could be related to social. Be happy with that process. Shoot for the stars, but be okay with ending up on the clouds, because that will help you so much more than stressing about not being in the stars, not being in the sky. Following the theme of what I've been talking about, I'd like to try to flip the script on something. You may see that I'm trying not to edit out the stutters. When I used to have a YouTube channel in the past, I used to always try to cut the audio so that you wouldn't be able to hear me stutter, but it goes into the next point I'm going to say. I would say, if I can give any piece of advice from somebody who has gone through perfectionism and is still going through it, that thought process, I would say try not to be your perfect self, but try to be a better version of yourself. Try to keep working on yourself and improve yourself, go through the mistakes, push through the procrastination, shoot for the stars, but just land amongst the clouds and you'll be so happy that you did. Be better than the person that you were an hour ago, but try not to be the perfect version of yourself, because that perfect version of yourself can't learn past that perfect version of yourself. You want to always keep learning, you want to always improve yourself, because doing that will be a lot better on your mental state in the future. But again, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a therapist, I'm just somebody who has gone through it, who I hope to help through making these videos. And I really hope that you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please let me know in the comments. Please feel free to reach out to me on social media, as I'm always looking for ideas and ways to improve the content that I make. And I really hope that you learned something from today's video. Have a great rest of your day, and I was going to say have a perfect day, but yeah, no, have a great, I hope you have a better day today than you did the day before. And if you didn't, there's always tomorrow too. So have a great day. Yeah, bye.